Everyone, it's Tim Reazor with Revere Asset Management, just after 3:30 here on a Wednesday night. So quickly, stock nerds and market lovers, before you and I begin, look, the intraday Powell selling, old JP selling was pretty intense. I want to show you that, but I think it tells a positive story. And I'll explain as we go along in tonight's sojourn in the video. But I won't bury the lead here. If we get it up close tomorrow, I think that starts a bigger reversion to the mean, and then when we get to the mean, do we just roll over? You know, that's the battle for another day per se. But I think that starts the journey into the end of the month, maybe first week of February, reversionary type action. And so we'll get into that here momentarily. The podcast super well received this week. If you haven't watched it, you can listen to it audio, you know, if you're driving or running, wherever you get your podcast. But if you want to watch it and see the charts along with us, it's on YouTube. It's right here on our website. YouTube is Revere Asset. You can get it delivered to you if you just subscribe. And then listen, stock nerds, market lovers, any questions, concerns, comments, take umbrage with anything that I'm saying, all you have to do is email me to revereasset.com. And then look, you want to see the fellas that make all the buys, the sells. They put the stocks on the watch list. Don, Alex, and Hunter. Listen, they are absolutely positively accessible to you. Salt of the earth human beings that exist to empower individual investors, and that's what we all do here at Revere. So what kind of makes us different than any other asset management firm in the country. And then if you want to talk to America's fiduciary right here, Danny Store, let's tell you something. Danny, there's a lot of life planning things that we do for clients for free, and they're really important, especially as you get nearing retirement and potentially end of life. And if you have questions in that regard, whether you're a client or not, I always tell people, call Danny. Like, Danny will talk to you whether you're a client or not, and he'll help you out. Some of it does require work, and if you're a client, we do a lot of that work for free. So if you are a client and you're like, God, I didn't know Danny did all this life planning stuff. Yeah, he sure does. 855-732-5932. And what it does is, what Danny does for a bunch of people is removes the ambiguity and a lot of the hurt and wonder that comes when certain events happen towards end of life. And I'm telling you, it's pretty amazing how he handles things. So hopefully, if you have any questions, you can just reach out. So with that, stock nerds, market lovers, these videos, real quickly, a lot of people get a hold of me this way with Twitter, right? And so if you want to get a hold of me at TJ Reazor, right here, your messages show up here. I get messages throughout the day from stock nerds. I appreciate it. I love you all. Why Twitter? It's brevity. My inbox fills up, and then it takes a little bit longer for me to get back to you. Twitter messages are brevity. You don't even have to follow me. My DMs are open, as they say. So listen, stock nerds, market lovers. These videos are for what? Your edification purposes only. They are never ever to be misconstrued as advice, one advice, advice, advice. All you have to do is, in fact, give us a call. So real quickly, let me show you the story here of the ticks. So the ticks are the actual buying and selling off the New York Stock Exchange. On TradeStation, they're really off the stock exchange, New York Stock Exchange. On Thinkorswim, which is what I'm using here, it's an amalgamation of 3 different exchanges. So the low tick happened here on 121, just over, was that 121? And so we're on a 5-minute chart, minus 1758, okay? And so today is the 26th, and you can see we haven't taken out that low tick, but what we did do today, while Chairman Powell was talking at the longest press conference I think he's ever held, you can see just how low ticks got, minus 1723. Whew, those are some sell programs. And then the moment he stopped talking, and he stopped talking at 15:25 Eastern, 14:25 Central, he stopped talking, and look at what the tick picture did. It immediately got better. And what does that mean? Yeah, buyers came in. Powell stopped talking, and buyers came in. And so we're going to leave this on a 5-minute chart, and I want to show you. Well, I don't want you to do the futures or SPY. I don't think it matters here. I'll show you SPY. And so, like the moment Powell, you can see where Powell stops talking. There's that low tick. Powell stops talking, and things get better. But here's the thing: you didn't take out. And let me just get this on I get on a daily chart, that's fine. You didn't take out the lows today. And I think, so you had a tick, I mean, come on, for government work, right? That was close enough. A tick a selling pressure tick that was so intense it matched the lowest tick of the year, right? And yet you didn't take out yesterday's low, and you didn't take out Monday's low. And so is this a bullish chart? No, no, it is not, my friends. But I contend that holding the lows gives you the opportunity that if we were to have an up close tomorrow, that you start working your way back, if not this 50% retracement level, potentially up to the 21 exponential moving average in the zone, right? So that's about 200 points, okay? And so what does that look like on the NASDAQ? And why show you this? Is it to get you long, or are you a perma bull, Tim? I thought you were a perma bear. No, I'm neither, but I to think that this is the optimum time that you have edge to short the markets here, I don't believe that to be true, okay? And so where would you have edge at in shorting? Well, it'd be back up here. You know, you could say the 200, right? Or Tim, we're getting rejected at the 8. Well, this has been a really weak market. See how we're getting rejected at the 8? You start closing above the 8, gives you the opportunity to get up here to the 15,000 level or the 200-day. And then you get up here somewhere in the zone of the 21. So probably there's where the battle starts. And that is a good rip-roaring rally. That's 1,000 points. You start making a 1,000-point move, you're going to get a bunch of folks back into the market, and they didn't buy the bottom, or they're all trying to buy the bottom. And you don't have to be that person, but I tell you all this because maybe there is something on your radar that you're looking at, and it's just perhaps a trade. And so I'm going to talk my own book here for a second. I do have some NVIDIA. And so NVIDIA here is at the 200-day, holding the 200-day, rejected at the 8 today. But you know, if the NASDAQ, this is a big if, right? Like, we'll just write the word if the NASDAQ is going to hold here. I mean, if the NASDAQ is going to revert to the mean, I would think that we start getting some kind of reversionary action on NVIDIA. Does it have to happen? Nope. No. But to me, in this market, right? To me, in this market, this is a lower risk play. And so I wanted to take a chance. I like to forward test things, and I haven't had the opportunity around the 200-day. And you know, with the markets the way they've been the last couple of years, now you've got a bunch of stocks holding up around the 200-day. I think Home Depot. I don't have any Home Depot, but Home Depot is like that as well, right? Kind of holding up at the 200-day. And then you know, with NVIDIA, I think what's going to happen here. Let's look at INTC real quick. Intel reported tonight, and oh, look at this. And so it was down initially. Here's where I'm looking. It was down initially. Now you're just back to flat. It's kind of a big deal. It was down 3% initially, so they must have guided better. And then LRCX. Yeah, LRCX was down at 500. This was within the expected move. LRCX was down at 500, 496. And now you can see it is, well, I don't have my after hours charts on. You can see it's back up within the expected move. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how NVIDIA, but look, NVIDIA is no different than any other stock. If the market's going to fall apart, NVIDIA is going to go with it, okay? Down, I mean, up on a down day, up 2%. Yeah, I think we'll see what happens, right? Up after hours. So, you know, a lot of that's going to be driven by who? INTC. And a lot of that, you might say, well, what drives that train oftentimes? It's the stocks in the ETF. The ETFification of markets is really fascinating. You know, things move in bunches now. So if chips, you know, let's look at SOXX. Where's the SOX at? Yeah, SOX is holding the 200. So we'll see. You know, we'll see if the old Soxaruski gets moving tomorrow with maybe Intel or LRCX. Okay, so what else is going on here? So we talked Powell, we talked S&Ps, we looked at the NASDAQ. So how about Apple earnings? So Apple, like, oh, let's look at Tesla real quick. So Tesla after hours, this is a victory. So Tesla comes down. I'll put it on a 5-minute chart. Tesla, the whole market came down, right? Powell's talking. Powell was on a mission today, right? I don't know if he accomplished everything he wanted to accomplish, but the sell program sure kicked in. Look at this. You're trading up here at 980. 990. But to only be down, what, 4 points, 3 points from, off the close after earnings, and a real volatile stock. The expected move was what, 77, and this thing was trading down at 896, 872, I believe, earlier. And so now you're back up here. So, it's just like the Microsoft deal yesterday, where you opened up lower, futures went lower, and then Microsoft rallied, and then futures rallied. And I think that's a big deal. And so what has to happen here? So a couple things. Well, when I say what has to happen, if this stays where it's at, about to zoom in here, and I don't think I should have. Well, let me zoom in and I'll zoom back out. To get to that reversion to the mean, this is a big deal, what's taking place here. This is the put call ratio. And so you'll note that the put call ratio was up here at 1.1. And look, we actually did start to put on a bottom, potential bottom. We'll just call it a PB, right? Potential bottom. So we get the high put call ratio readings, and we get this candle down here. And now we're closing above the lows still. Not too shabby, but it's this 10-day moving average across the put call ratio that I find super interesting and that I want to talk to you about. And so if we take this chart back all the way to the .com implosion, how about just here's 20, let's go in here. And so I'll zoom in and we'll go back to springtime of 2020 and COVID and that bottom that got put in. And so if you look at where I'm at here, I'm going to be if you're looking at your screen, I'm going to be talking about in this area here where I'm drawing the arrow. So I'll turn my marker off. And I want to point out what level that is. That 10-day moving average is 0.73. Okay, that's June, right? And over here, back in May, it's 0.83. And so, and you saw, now you can see the S&P down here starts to do what? Yeah, it starts to bottom. Look at where we're at right now. We're like at 0.8. And this wouldn't surprise me if we start to put in an intermediary bottom. I get it. Things are being revalued as we speak. And a lot of people will question like high valuation stocks, where's the valuation of an Amazon inflated with all the money that was being printed and distributed? Yeah, and so you have this sell-off in these high valuation stocks that is revaluing them right now as we speak. And so is that happening still? Yes, it sure is. Was that what the selling was about today? Yes, but they were machines that are doing that. Just like machines did Microsoft, and then Microsoft ends up closing higher on the day. And so here, this 0.8 is the same level that it was back in June, and just a little bit, slightly, tiny bit lower than it was back in the unknown of this virus sell-off. And so here we are again. And what's so special about a 10-day moving average, even though the actual put call reading is 0.76, to get this kind of level, this is sneaky put buying. So there's still put buying going in. And if you believe that when everybody, I haven't done this in a long time. So I know this looks like a triangle, but trust me, this is a boat. And here's the port side and here's the starboard side. And if everybody starts getting on the one side of the ship, pretend that it's not well built, like everybody, the masses start getting here. Eventually the ship tips over, the opposite, of what you want happens, takes place. And, everyone is still buying puts. They were buying a ton of puts here, and the market potentially, note I'm hedging here, potentially put in the bottom. And yet here you are with the put buying still taking place. You just want to be aware of that. And so what does that stop you from doing? Well, if you've got stocks that, you have stocks you've been holding for the long term, take that information and you're like, okay, well, are they holding up under the, above the 200-day, or maybe something's above the 21? You don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater per se. But now, like, what happens if, let's say, S&P futures close lower tomorrow? What happens if they take out these lows? right, of the day, oh, it's probably a bad thing, right? And there's just little support building. Let me get this on the daily chart. There's a little support, and that makes Friday very tenuous. And so this is a vicious cycle. This is not a bullish pattern. All you're doing and looking at here is, can we get off this third ATR, close above -1 ATR, and revert back to the mean? That's it. That's all I'm looking for here. This has been there's been a lot of quote unquote revaluation of stocks and a lot of wealth redistributed during this move from 48.08 to 43.38. But keep noting that you're holding above. You've got improvement over the last 2 days from Monday. And in light of those selling ticks, I think that's a nuance that you might miss when all anybody is going to talk about is Jay Powell. And you really don't know the true nature of the moves till a Thursday and a Friday afterwards. So we'll see how markets take it. But that's kind of what I'm looking for. And then there was one other thing I wanted to discuss. Oh, bonds. That's what I wanted to talk about, bonds. And so let's look at bonds here. So the TNX, 10-year Treasury Index, 1848. And so here you are, coming back up to the high. You kind of want to see this pullback. And where are we at? So let's put TNX, pardon me. Let's put TNX on our ATR chart on a daily. And so you're at plus ATR, plus 2 ATR. You're not quite all the way up here at plus 3 ATR. It'll be interesting to see if this starts to meander back to the mean. That is bullish for stocks. Another way to look at that, instead of looking at the TNX, look at the 10-year, 30-year Treasury. Let's look at the 10-year, the ZN, the 10-year Treasury notes. If the 10-year Treasury notes can get themselves off the mat, let's see the trade at 127 down here and start to revert back to the mean. If they can do that, well, I think that's bullish for stocks as well, because what'll happen is price of bonds is going higher, and then the TNX, or the rate is coming lower. And so something to keep an eye on while you watch markets on Thursday and Friday. Look, that's a lot. Sometimes it can get confusing. I think, though, that the ticks, just to reiterate, the ticks having the worst tick of 2022 and not taking out the lows, or starting the process to take out the lows today, I do think that was kind of a bigger deal. And then a lot is going to be determined with this. It's going to be determined with how the market interprets Tesla, how Apple is received on Thursday night, and then you'll see what you get on Friday. So hopefully that all helps. And with that, I'll see you at the next update.